إن الحمد لله نحمده أستعينه أستغفره ونعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And I'm going to switch to English. We have in front of us right now a golden opportunity to gain what we should have as our goal for this entire life. Jannah. We have the opportunity to get the Jannah right now. Not just because it might be Laylatul Qadr tonight, and that's a good thing. And not just because it's Friday, that's another good thing, Jumu'ah. But because we have the opportunity to invest in our future. How? There are a number of ways. You can support this masjid. That is a good way to do it because you live here, and you should. We also can support our brothers and sisters in Gaza because of what they're going through, and that's good. We can also consider what I'm going to talk about today, which is the translations of the Quran. But do something with the very little money you have, even if it's millions, it's nothing in front of Allah. Do something. And that's my encouragement for myself, as well as you. Now, I'm going to change directions and go for the translation of the Quran. By the way, you can talk back to the Imam, but nobody else in the Jummah Khutbah. You know that, right? You can, if I make a mistake, you can say, hey, you made a mistake. That's okay. The Quran translations all have mistakes in them. The Quran translations are not perfect. Did you know that? Because you cannot bring a book like it, no matter how hard you try, for the sake of Allah, for the sake of Islam. You will never, ever make a book like it. That's a given. However, whenever somebody is translating the Quran for a deviant purpose, that is really going to be bad for them, but it can still be good for the people that read it, because Allah can guide them to read this and avoid that. Is that right? This has been going on for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. Because the first translation of the Quran to the English language had to occur less than 1,000 years ago. You know why? Because there was no English before that. The Normans invaded the Saxons in 1066 AD, and then right after that, the Catholic Church, look up Robert the Monk, just Type in his name in Google and you'll find Robert the Monk. What is he famous for in the Catholic Church? Mistranslating the Quran so that they could start the Crusades. They said we can prove the Quran is wrong. And they translated it for the very first word. The very first word. Jibril alayhi salam says to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi salam, what is that word? Huh? Iqra. Yeah, like you said, like I said earlier, you can talk to the Imam, not anybody else. Iqra. Yeah. How do you think they translated it? Read. And all of us have seen that in English. Read. And they said, that proves it's wrong. Because Muhammad cannot read. So why God didn't know that? What does Iqra really mean? When you have, listen to the response that the Prophet ﷺ gave you. He didn't say, ana umi, ana umi, ana umi. That is a fabricated indeed. I don't know who made that one up, but he said, ma ana bi qari. What is a qari? It's the same person that stands here in Tarawih and leads the salat. He can be blind, right? The person can be blind leading the salat. He could be blind memorizing the entire Quran. Huh? Can he read? No. No. So that is how they convinced them, their military. We can prove this is not a religion from God because of the very first word, Iqra. Now, we know that it is recited. He's the reciter. And the Quran is a recitation, not a reading. But why did they have to do that? Because they wanted to prove first that it's not from Allah. Then they had the opportunity to go through and say whatever they wanted. Have you ever heard about this in English? They're going to slaughter our necks. They're going to cut our throats. It's in their book. Have you heard that? Huh? Yeah. Even today, we're hearing that. Chopping the babies' heads off. And now, okay, now you remember. Where do you think it came from? From a translation saying assassinate, or later they changed it, somebody changed it to slaughter. Slaughter them wherever you find them. And in parentheses it says, these are the Jews and Christians. Oh. Huh? It doesn't say that in the Quran at all. Waqtuluhum is strong. It's a strong word, but it doesn't mean slaughter. Because if you put slaughter or slay, the current ones are saying slay, that's a diminutive of the word slaughter. If you put slaughter or slay into Google Translate to the Arabic language, guess what? It doesn't come up with qital, which is the word used. It comes up with dabiha. This is what we do to the animals on Eid, right? Dhabiha, slice their neck. So this is why they did it. To convince people to go out and kill them wherever you find them before they kill you. And the target was Jerusalem. Sound familiar? Yeah. So this is not a new problem. But there is a new solution, and we have it right out there. Right out there, and if you take a copy, replace it with something that we can get another one with. We want to make them available to all of the non-Muslims that we can, and new Muslims, because I don't want them to leave Islam because of a translation. Have you had any new shahadas here in this masjid?
Yeah.
Yeah? Everywhere I go, I see this. I see this. I ask, and they always say yes. And I was going to ask that last week, but then they said, they interrupted me. They said, somebody wants to make shahada. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So, this is why we brought this translation. Because it doesn't say read, it says recite. And it doesn't say slaughter them wherever you find them. It uses a word like kill, but that's not still strong enough. In my estimation, the perfect word to use is combat. Combat them if they combat you. Because it's talking about, it doesn't say it in ayah, but it's talking about the garb that we wear when we make Hajj. Because by the way, Allah did not have to tell Arabs how to fight. Did he? Arabs are born fighting. Is that true or false? Yeah. You know that. He's telling them not to fight because it's the holy months, and especially because they're wearing the ihram and they're going out. And this is all from Sheikh Muhammad Yusuf. He was telling me all of this 20 years ago. Alhamdulillah. And he was explaining so that I would have a better grasp of real Islam. A lot of people are looking for Islam right now and finding ways that they can do it. But then when they get these translations that are all based on Yusuf Ali, and then he based his of somebody else that translated it, and it goes back, and finally you find that they're all, it says in Surah 94, Allah, if it says read, don't trust it. Don't trust it. Because there's something going to be like وَضْرِبْهُمْ, translated as scourge. Scourge. If you know what scourge means, that's when the captain of the ship finds out somebody is trying to do a mutiny against him, and he takes the guy and ties him to the mast, and then strips his shirt off, and then takes the cat of nine tails, and then starts whipping the guy until he's bloody on the back, and then they throw salt water on the open wounds. And then they throw him overboard for the sharks to eat. That's scourge. You really think you're going to do that to your wife? I don't want to belabor that because we have a lot to cover. Just the better translation for wadribhunna is something, ask a doctor about this. What do you call it when you tap somebody like this? The doctor does that, right? Maybe we have some doctors around.
Percussion.
Percussion.
Everybody? And anyway.
Percuss.
Percuss, exactly. Not percussion, that's drummers. Yeah, but percuss, because they are tapping you to find out something, you know. But it doesn't hurt. That's the maximum. If you could use the word tap, but not scourge, not beat, not get into the areas that, we find really revolting. Anyway, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So we do have a translation that is much better, and it was done by Muhammad. She's from California, but she was teaching Arabic in says, why do you look so cute on TV? Alhamdulillah. So, by the way, where's the clock? Ah, right there. Okay. So, we have an opportunity. This is my bottom line. We have an opportunity right now to do good works. Don't miss it. You can invest in the masjid. You can invest in Gaza, feeding the people. You can invest in those Qurans out here. But do something, or do all of it. But be sure you grab the opportunity and hold on to it. Inshallah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And alhamdulillah rabbil alameen huwa alladhi ja'alna muslimin. Only Allah makes the Muslims, and alhamdulillah. And I love all of you for the sake of Allah. And I encourage you to do the things that I was talking about, or something else, maybe something even better than that. Maybe you have a neighbor. You can take one of these Qurans and give it to your neighbor that's not a Muslim. And they won't find anything really bad in it. There are some words that maybe we could do better with, and I would invite you to tell me. You can make a note of my email, contact, CONTACT @guideus.tv. Guideus.tv. You know where anybody watch that? No? Oh my God. Okay. MashaAllah. This is about 13 years old. Oh my God. 13 years we've had this channel broadcasting on satellite all over the United States, Canada, and northern Mexico. Everywhere. And a lot of people have come to Islam from it. And we make a lot of mistakes. But we don't make the big mistake. We don't have that lack of enthusiasm. The big mistake is to do nothing. Big mistake. Do something, even if it's wrong, because you're rewarded by your niyyah, your intention. Is that right? Yeah. Do something. Don't let shaitan get you. Oh, don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do something. And alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So we send the peace and blessings upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. إني ظلمت نفسي ظلما كثيرا ولا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت فاغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إن كنت من الظالمين. لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. I just thought of something. In the Bible, in the New Testament, chapter 12, it says that God is going, now this is, you can tell the Christian this, God is going to make blessings on the one who sends blessings on Ibrahim. What do we do 5 times a day? Blessings. Barakah. Barakah on Muhammad as you did on Ibrahim. Ask him, when was the last time you blessed Ibrahim? We do it 5 times a day at least. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. You come on,